demonstration of how to test for fluoride using our Orion VersaStar meters using a fluoride probe. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the nitrate probes because the testing is so similar between the two. This is a quick look of our fluoride probes. They are stored dry. They have a sensing element in the center, and they have this cover here which holds a fluid, and there's a hole to put that in. We fill it with this Optimum Results A here. So what I do is put a few drops into the hole, mix it up to get the O-rings all wet, and then you fill it all the way. So right now it is filled all the way, but you want to make sure it's nicely filled, and I do have an air bubble. So what I do is that you can push onto this cap and it'll release a little bit of fluid from the bottom. Check to make sure it's all good. Fill it up all the way again, and you're ready to go. This is what the nitrate probe looks like. This is it stored dry, just like the fluoride probes. I do have to replace the cap with one of these, but also stored dry, just like this. After your probe is filled, you need to soak it. So the directions say it must be in a 4M potassium chloride solution with fluoride. So the amount of fluoride that's in there should be at the least concentrated fluoride calibration standard. Right now this meter is set up to run at 1 ppm as our lowest standard. So we should make this a 1 ppm. It should be prepared for you before you come in. Next thing you have to do is check to make sure your probe is working properly. And to do that, you must check the slope. So find that page in your book, checking electrode operation slope. And here's the directions. So we have already put the electrode onto the meter. Next we have to set the meter to the millivolt mode. It is right now set up for fluoride, but it does have millivolts here, so we're going to check that out right there. What we're going to do is place 50 ml of DI water and 50 ml of the TISAB2 into a 150 milliliter beaker and stir using the stir plate. So I'm getting ready for my slope check. Here's my TISAB, and I have 50 ml in a plastic graduated cylinder. Right now all we have here is 50 ml and 100 ml plastic cylinders. We're probably going to go all the way to plastic next time. So I do have a glass one, just pretend it is plastic right now. So I have my DI water, 50 ml of DI water. And I add my 50 ml of TISAB2. Turn on the stirrer. So that is mixing. I want to make note on the next page under measuring hints. It says to always rinse the electrode with DI water between measurements and shake the electrode to remove the water and prevent sample carryover. Do not wipe the electrode sensing element. So now we are back to our checking our slope. Next we are going to put the electrode into the mixture, and then we're going to pipette 1 ml of the 100 ppm fluoride standard. So here is our standard, and I already have some poured off into a cup. I have my pipettes ready. So now I'm going to rinse the electrode and put it into the beaker. Alright, so I'm ready to go. Got my 1 ml pipette. Alright, I'm checking the millivolts here. Wait till it stabilizes. Alright, it is now ready, and it's stabilized at 94.6 millivolts. It could take 3 minutes, but this took about a minute. Next time we're going to add 10 mils of the same 100 ppm standard. and wait for that to stabilize. Alright, that's stabilized at 37.6 millivolts. 37.6 millivolts. I'm going to subtract it. 57.0. Alright, looking at the book, there should be a 54 to 60 millivolt difference between the two millivolt readings. I'm very happy. I'm going to rinse off the probe and get ready for my calibration. Next we're on to calibration, and the book has many different ways to calibrate our instrument for fluoride. Right now we can do it as direct calibration, and there are 3 standards already set up on this instrument. I will be changing them. Right now it's 1, 2, and 10 ppm, which is a bit on the high side. Since we want our water to be 0.7, 0.8, these standards are too high. Another thing we can do is just take the millivolts here. We can make several different standards, take the readings, make a curve, and use that to calibrate. So now I'm setting up for the calibration. I have a 10 standard, I have a 2 standard. I do not have a 1 standard, so I took 25 mils of the 2 standard and then diluted it up to 50 mils to make my 1 ppm. Now we are going to be changing this, so these will not be the standards you will likely be making, but that is how it is set up right now. Again, this will be plastic at the time, so I am going to add, so you have to start with the low one, so we're starting with the 1 ppm. I'm adding that. Again, this should be volumetric flask. We do not have plastic volumetric flask. Then we must add 50 mils of the TISAB2, and that again is for every single sample you are going to be running. Then I'm going to take my probe, rinse it off, shake it to remove the excess, and add it to the beaker there. Alright, it is going. I'm going to hit calibrate and F3 to begin. And remember, it could take up to 3 minutes to stabilize. It is ready. So I'm going to hit accept. Then I'm going to hit next. So rinse the electrode and place into buffer and press F3 to begin. So I'm going to lift this, put on a new beaker at the 2 ppm, 50 mils of TSAB, and then press F3 to begin. So again, my 2 ppm is next. $50 mils. And start. And wait for it to stabilize again. Oh, it is ready. So I hit accept. And now we want to do our next one. So we're going to hit next as soon as I pour in the 10 ppm, 50 mils of ppm, 50 mils of TISAB, and then I'll hit next. Okay, here goes. 10. TISAB. Add my probe. Next. Start. Waiting for it to stabilize. It is ready, so the calibration is done. I'm going to hit accept and take a look here. The 1 read 0.64, the 2 read 1.6, and the 10 read 6.8. So that's not unusual because you added 50 mils of the TISAB. So you can hit Cal Done. We can look at the graph if we like. Isn't that quite nice? Nice and linear. Now it's ready. You can do your test samples. Now in a few weeks we're going to do the nitrate, so let's just take a quick, we're not printing. Okay, we're going to escape out of there. Escape. Alright, so when we're going to go on to the nitrate probe, we're going to go back to setup, channel 1. We're going to go to mode, select. We are on ISE, select. Then we're going to go and change our probe to the nitrate probe. Done. Nitrate. Alright, here's the nitrate. We'll be using in a couple weeks. We'll be using the low level setup calibration technique.